정해진 답을 외우는 대신 스스로 묻고 스스로 찾아가는 배움으로 아이들은 세계를 넓혀갑니다. 학교와 함께 자기주도 학습의 기반을 다져나가고 성장 눈높이에 맞춰 아이들이 스스로 공부해 나갈 수 있는 힘을 키웁니다.
Our children are learning to build their own dreams. Education that is not about getting the highest score, but learning how to build your own life. Asking why rather than jumping to an answer. Learning through asking and searching. Broadening the children's world. Schools and children building the foundation of self-directed learning together. Strengthening self-directed learning capabilities through education support for each growth stage.
이 캠페인은 아이들의 꿈을 밝히는 신뢰도 높은 공교육, 부산광역시 교육청이 함께합니다.
세계를 놀라게 할 북극 항로, 그 중심에 대한민국 해양 수도권, 부산, 울산, 경남이 있다는 사실 여러분 아시나요? 불경의 미래, 부산, 울산, 경남 방송발전협의회가 함께 하겠습니다. 지금까지 운영위원장 성현우였습니다.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
The CSAT, the 수능, it has come and gone. But guess what? We're still talking about it. And there's a reason. The gravity of how difficult one particular year's CSAT can make or break a young person's chances of going to their university of choice. The unexpected difficulty of this year's English portion on the 수능 is fueling anxiety among parents, many of whom now feel really pressured to expand their children's enrollment in private academies, 학원. According to most experts and even acknowledged by the head of the Korea Institute for Curriculum and Evaluation, KAIS, this year's English portion went beyond the normal degree of difficulty than usual. But for test takers, especially for those who weren't able to meet their minimum score required for early admissions or 수시, another year feeling trapped studying may be the path forward. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Tuesday, December 9th on BEFM, 부산영어방송. Good morning, Wavers. Welcome to our program on this Tuesday morning. I hope you're all doing well. The 수능, the CSAT. 언제였어요? That was like back in November. We're still talking about it. And if you are familiar with the CSAT or anything related to Korean education, you've heard of these terms. 불수능, if the exam was difficult, or 물수능, if it was easier than expected. Well, we are seeing a new term this year. Magma English. Ooh, what is that? 용암 영어, meaning that the English portion was just extremely difficult. We reported that only 3.11% of test takers received 90 points or above, or what is equivalent to a level 1. Breaking this down further, there are schools in rural areas where none of the students received a level 1. This actually could cause trouble for, yes, the early admissions students who couldn't meet their minimum 수능 requirements. And this is a bigger picture behind this so-called magma English, the whole no-curve system for English, 영어 절대평가, which was implemented back in 2018, and the explicit goal was to reduce dependency on private education. That was the goal. And this means that the difficulty level should have been within a reasonable level of expectation, with the top level achievable with just public education. That was the theory. This then causes confusion and chaos among students and parents. One education superintendent from Gwangju said that English is especially affected by early childhood private education, and such drastic increase in the difficulty level might trigger this. The fact that private academies are already seeing the effects of this year's Suneung with inquiries about special classes, not just for the retakers. We're talking about young students. The education authorities have apologized for this incident and have launched an inspection into the whole question creation and review process. Okay, so for those of you who don't have kids, you might be thinking, what's the big deal? Are we blowing this out of proportion? But for those who are affected, those in the know, and especially for the 고3ers that are born in the year 2007, if they are to retake the Suneung next year, that's their final chance because the education curriculum has changed. So this involves a multi-trillion-won private education market as well that really does feed off the uncertainty and anxiety. And unfortunately, in this current environment, it is a big deal. All right, we're going to set that aside for now, and let's talk about this. What issues caused friction between you and your parents when you were younger? Or maybe now between you and your kids, what causes the most friction? 자, 내가 부모님과 혹은 지금 내 자식들과 가장 많이 갈등을 겪는 일은? 그리고 세대 차이 이럴 때 느낀다? Do you feel that? The generational divide, that gap. I remember when I was growing up, my mom was the quintessential tiger mom. 요즘에는 뭐 helicopter mom, there are different terms, right? She was 진짜 호랑이 엄마, like so strict. How strict? My curfew, 미국에서 자랐는데요. I grew up in the States. My curfew was sunset. I would hate winter, even in California, because 해가 떨어지면 그 전에 들어와야 돼요. Basically, she said 5 or 5:30. 5:30 was the maximum. That was my curfew. So anything aside from school activities or school-related activities, I had to be home by 5:30. That was my life, so that caused a lot of friction because obviously none of my friends went home at 5 or 5:30. So things like that. Let us know. You can send in your messages to Busan 영어방송's live stream live chat on YouTube. So go to the YouTube platform, type in BEFM or 부산영어방송, like I said. Find our channel, subscribe, log in, and chat with other waivers from your phone, pound 9050, shop 9050. That's going to cost you 101. You can also reach me for free through Kakao Talk. Type in the same thing, BEFM, 부산영어방송, to find us, add us as a friend first, and then send in your messages or photos too. You can tune into Morning Wave in Busan on the radio, 90.5 or 103.3 FM. If you're in Busan, depends on where you are in Busan. And like I said, we're streaming live on YouTube right now. You can check us out multiple times if you like through YouTube. We're available on the BEFM app and the Popbang app as well. So let's look at the lineup for today. We have Jian coming in real soon. We also have Haley for top stories. And then Andrew's coming in for Wave Sports. That's in hour number 1. In hour number 2, we have our special interview. So today we're going to break down something that Elon Musk said. Anything that he says kind of makes headlines, does it not? Because, people listen to him. So he talked about a post-money world. What will that look like? And, I mean, for us, we're just kind of getting used to maybe that we might become cashless, but, post-money, what does that mean? We're going to break it down for you with our expert in hour number 2, and Bonnie with Simply Sustainable. And then we also have, of course, 와글와글, Tea Time. And let's get to news overview. It is now 7:08, and this is News Overview. Judges express concern over ruling party's judicial reform. Judges representing courts nationwide issued a statement of concern over the Democratic Party or DP-led judicial reform initiative that would establish a special insurrection tribunal and establish a new crime of legal distortion. President Lee to visit Japan next month. President Lee Jae-myung is reportedly planning on visiting Japan next month and holding a summit with Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi in her hometown. KTX and SRT to merge by end of next year. The Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport announced yesterday that it will seek to integrate the express trains KTX and SRT by the end of next year in order to increase available seats and reduce safety concerns. Immigrants account for 5% of South Korean population. 5 out of every 100 people living in South Korea now have a foreign or immigrant background, according to government data yesterday. Powerful 7.6 magnitude earthquake strikes Japan's north. A powerful 7.6 magnitude earthquake has struck northeastern Japan, prompting tsunami warnings and evacuation orders for about 90,000 residents. This was News Overview. It's time for Now Busan. We have Jian in the studio. Let's say hi first. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, first, before we dive into some local news, if you look back to maybe your teenagers or when you were younger, what was a cause for friction between you and your parents?
I think I didn't really have friction with my parents since my parents were pretty open to everything.
Okay.
But whenever I feel, there's a gap generation between me and my parents is the time when we listen to music, I think.
Oh, to music.
Yes. I listen to various genres like house or EDM, any kind of genre. But my mom is a huge fan of Lee Moon-se.
What's wrong with Imunse?
It's fine. I love him, but
Yes,
still,
yes.
she was like, okay, mom.
She likes like the
Have
real
fun.
like mellow kind of music from like I guess like the 80s and 90s maybe.
Yes.
I see. Interesting. Generational divide with the music choices. Well, we're going to jump into our first story. You know, we've been talking about the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries moving to Busan and now companies are following suit, right?
Yes. Busan's vision as a new maritime capital is gaining real momentum. Following the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries, 2 major shipping corporations, SK Shipping and H-Line Shipping, have officially announced their plans to relocate their headquarters to Busan in the first half of next year. Their decision is making a strong signal for others to consider moving to Busan as well. The announcement was made last Friday on December 5th. Both companies emphasized that relocating to Busan allows them to take advantage of the region's growing maritime ecosystem and strengthen their global competitiveness.
Yes, so this sounds pretty major, a big shift for the city, right?
The relocations are part of Busan's plan to become Korea's maritime hub, concentrating shipping-related administrative, judicial, and financial functions in the city. The Busan Maritime Capital Development Council, 해양수도 부산 발전협의회, also welcomed the relocations and urged Hyundai Merchant Marine Hyundai Sangsan, the country's largest shipping corporation, to confirm its headquarters move to Busan soon. On the government side, the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries began its relocation to the Busan government building yesterday on December 8th. The Shipping and Logistics Bureau will start operations tomorrow, December 10th, and the full relocation is scheduled to be completed by December 20th. 21st.
Yes.
This marks an important step in establishing Busan as a central hub for Korea's maritime industry.
Yes. So Busan is not just a port city. It's actively trying to become the country's maritime center.
Exactly. With both public and private entities relocating, the city is positioning itself as a global shipping hub, tightening its maritime cluster and regional economy in the process.
Yeah, so it does seem like, everything's kind of beginning to settle down, and hopefully we'll see more companies make the move as well. All right, Busan City is talking about this urban initiative, and what is this plan all about?
Busan is moving forward with its 15-minute Happy City initiative, aiming to make everybody's life more accessible, connected, and eco-friendly. Busan Mayor Park Hyung-jun presented the Step Up direction yesterday on December 8th at City Hall. The plan focuses on three main strategies: accessibility, solidarity, and ecology. For accessibility, Busan is creating safe pedestrian streets, building better bicycle paths, and improving public transport connections. Daily use bike paths will link residential areas to parks and riversides, while leisure-oriented paths will connect the city's 7 mountains, 7 beaches, and the Nakdong River. Busan is also expanding pedestrian zones around schools and shopping districts to encourage walking.
Right, so that's one factor, but what are the plans for the solidarity and ecology factors?
To build up solidarity, the city will implement 15-minute city services, which allow residents to access daily necessities, healthcare, and administrative services within 15 minutes. The initiative also includes collaborations with private platforms to offer local services, community programs, and cultural activities aimed at reviving neighborhood engagement. Ecology-wise, Busan is expanding green rest areas, planting trees along streets, reducing carbon emissions through eco-friendly transportation, and transforming underutilized urban spaces into community hubs. The city aims to create connected, livable neighborhoods where residents can enjoy both convenience and a healthier environment.
I see. Thanks for letting us know about this. Gian, I hear this week in Busan is Human Rights Week. We need further details on this.
Busan City is running the 2025 Busan Human Rights Week until this Friday to 12th in order to mark the 77th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The city has put together a range of programs, all designed to promote human rights awareness and culture. The Human Rights Day ceremony will take place this Wednesday on December 10th at City Hall. It will include awards for a human rights art contest, a reading of the Universal Declaration, human rights education, and a special human rights film festival by the National Police Agency.
Yes.
Other events will feature an art exhibition, a conference at Bexco, and a special lecture with a film screening later in the week.
So it does sound like there's going to be like this full week of events, right?
Busan is using this week to engage citizens directly, promote awareness, and reinforce the culture of human rights across the city.
Okay.
It's not just ceremonies or lectures. It's about connecting people, sharing knowledge, and creating visible action for equality and respect.
Once again, that's regarding Human Rights Week here in Busan. All right, next, I hear that Busan has put up a new cultural signboard for winter. So what does it say?
This winter, Busan City unveiled a new cultural signboard on the exterior wall of City Hall.
Okay.
The feature text written by An Kyung-jin goes, 눈 오지 않아도 겨울인걸요. 그대 안 보여도 사랑인걸요. Roughly translated, it is winter even if it doesn't snow. It is love even if I can't see you. It will be displayed for about 3 months until next February. The selection came from 329 entries submitted to an October contest reviewed by the Busan branch of the Writers Association of Korea, 한국작가회의. For the handwriting design, Lee Soo-bin, a visual design student from Gyeongsang University, contributed directly to the board's layout. The city will hold another call for submissions next spring. Anyone can submit a short message of up to 25 characters conveying love, hope, or warmth. The winner receives a cultural gift certificate worth 500,000 won, and 6 honorable mentions get 50,000 won each.
I see. So a bit of a competition there. So thank you so much for going over all the local news, and we'll check in with you tomorrow, Gian. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's get to your traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic report. There is congestion on the Dongso overpass from Hwangyang ramp to the old Gaegeum toll gate. It looks backed up on Gwanmun-dero from Pangham Tunnel to Baekyang Tunnel. Also looking slow on Beonyeongno going away from the city right around the Wondong ramp. And there is congestion on Nakdong-Namno from Myeongji ramp to Cheongyangsa-Ogi intersection. Currently, it is a solid 0 degrees under clear skies with a daytime high forecast to go up to 11 degrees. A dry weather special a report and a cold wave impact preliminary report has been issued across Busan. Across the nation, a sudden drop in temperatures with most areas seeing below freezing morning temperatures. There's a dry weather special weather report issued across parts of Gangwon, Gyeongbuk, Daegu, and Gyeongnam. So please be careful, especially with fires. This was your traffic and weather. It is now time for Top Stories. We have Haley in the studio. Let's say hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Okay. Well, how are you and your parents?
We're okay now. We're good now.
Yeah. But back in the day, I want to hear.
Well, back in the day, I actually didn't really go through a rebellious teenage phase. I had a quarter life crisis. That's, it's long over, unfortunately and fortunately. But my mom was a never sleep over at a friend's house mom.
Oh.
She was a no sleepovers mom. Right, but then I didn't have a curfew. The weirdest thing was I came home at and I was in high school and I could drive. And I was a good kid. I was like I can't say those words.
Yes.
But I was a goody two shoes. I came home at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Excuse me?
But and then, we were at 4 a.m. We were at a study group and we actually studied and we were hyped up on candy, but that was the substance that we did. And then my mom looks at me and she's like, do you know what time it is? I'm like, 4? And she's like, yeah. And then she just went back to bed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I didn't get in trouble because I actually didn't sleep over.
Technically, your eyes were open.
Technically, I didn't sleep over and I came home and I slept in my own bed.
But I hated that rule, the no sleeping over. I could have friends sleep over.
Yeah.
I had slumber parties at my house.
Right.
But I wasn't allowed to go over.
I'm like, that's such 내로남불. But yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's dive into our first story. The Presidential Committee on Regional Balance briefed its progress to the president yesterday.
Right. So President Lee Jae-myung here stressed that balanced regional development is crucial to the country's sustainable growth. So until now, Lee said that South Korea's growth strategy has been one on a very singular, capital-centric system, and that admittedly has yielded significant growth.
Yes.
However, this excessive capital centrism, this reliance on the capital area has now come to damage the potential for growth. So with this, he presented his 5-hub, 3 special autonomous province strategy.
Okay, so let's go through this new strategy.
Right, so this was presented by the Presidential Committee for Decentralization and Balanced Development. So the 5 regional hubs, they are the Seoul metropolitan area, the southeast here, Dongnam area, what's called Daegyeong권, which is the Daegu Gyeongbuk sphere,
Right.
Jungbuk권, the central area, and Honam권, the southwestern regions. And then on top of that, we also have the 3 special self-governing provinces, Jeju, Gangwon, and North Seolla. So the committee will, after this, come up with growth strategies that would suit the needs of each specific region.
Yes, and if these, measures come out, we will definitely let you guys know. Now, let's touch on this whole personal information breach story because we have seen a massive personal data hack almost every month this year. But despite the scale of these breaches, compensation has been minimal at best.
And this could be by design by the corporations, it turns out, because most corporations, and we're not just talking about Coupang, there was a whole SK Telecom scandal as well. They apparently have bare minimum insurance coverage for compensations of such personal information breaches.
Okay, so how much are we talking about specifically?
Right, so according to reports that cite people in the industry, Coupang's compensation insurance with Meritz, that is capped at 1 billion won coverage, 10억 won.
Oh.
That's supposed to be the money that goes out to the consumers. Again, we're talking about 33.7 million accounts.
Yes.
So that means that even if Coupang is legally deemed liable to pay compensations, the maximum amount that could be given out via insurance coverage is, again, 1 billion won.
Oh.
So one insider from the industry said that given the scale of the accident, 1 billion won't even cover barely any of the damages. So to the point that reporting this to the insurance company and claiming that amount would be, quote, meaningless. So that 10 billion won maximum compensation is the same package that SK Telecom has, and that back then involved 23 million accounts.
Right. So, 10 billion won on its own, a huge amount. But for a corporation, seems like an incredibly low number.
Right. So under the Personal Information Protection Act, corporations are required to have insurance that would cover compensations for personal information breaches.
Okay.
And the minimal level of coverage depends on the size of the corporation. However, it is minimal. For example, a massive corporation with over 1 million accounts with reported sales of 80 billion won from the previous year, their minimum is capped at 1 billion won. And this seems that is what most companies are choosing to pay.
Yes. So what's being done about this?
Right. So the industry is going to make a proposal to the Personal Information Protection Commission, or the PIPC, to raise this minimum requirement.
Okay.
And also to cover that to at least 100 billion won, or 1,000억 won. Also, although it is required, it's not enforced. That's been the problem so far.
Okay.
So they're also calling for more proactive administrative action for violators that do not have this insurance coverage. So according to the PIPC's figures, there are 380,000 corporations that are required to have this insurance. But according to the 15 insurance companies that provide such insurance, the actual registration rate, 8%.
Oh, 8%.
Yeah.
Well, as this is going on, Coupang is facing a class action lawsuit in the U.S.
Right. So difference here. So group lawsuits, and although in Korean they're both being translated as 집단 소송, they are different. We'll get to that. Group lawsuits are brewing in South Korea, but users are also preparing to file class lawsuits against Coupang headquarters located in the United States. So SJKP, which is the U.S. branch of Daeryun law firm, said in a press conference in Manhattan on Sunday local time that it is bringing a class action suit on behalf of the affected plaintiffs, and they're seeking unspecified punitive damages, 징벌적 손해배상 in Korean. So the company, for a little bit of background, although it does most of its businesses in South Korea, it is publicly listed in the United States with its headquarters in Seattle.
That's right. So is there a reason the plaintiffs are seeking a lawsuit in the U.S.?
Yes. So again, this all goes back to the whole punitive damages, 징벌적 손해배상.
Okay.
So there are two types of damages a company could pay. Number one, compensatory damages, which basically compensates the victims for the amount lost.
Right.
Punitive damages, it actually punishes the company, in this case, wrongdoer, for extreme malicious conduct that deter future misconduct. Basically, it's extra penalties. So under South Korean law, we do have the punitive damages systems,
Right.
but it's kind of in theory because no cases have actually been punished under punitive damages.
I see.
Another factor, going back, this is a class action lawsuit, which unlike group lawsuits, so group lawsuits only affect the plaintiffs who have their names in the lawsuit. But class action, the plaintiffs represent an entire class of victims. So this could have far-reaching impact.
All right. Thanks for explaining the differences. Let's move on for now. There are a lot of changes that will come with the new year, but here's an urgent one. Starting next year, Seoul, Gyeonggi, and Incheon will have to figure out a new way to handle their trash.
Such a seemingly random issue, but it affects our day-to-day lives.
Yes.
And even maybe this whole capital-centric issue, taking it to a full circle. So, so far, the bulk of the trash that comes out of the capital area, Seoul, Gyeonggi, Incheon, they have gone to this landfill in Incheon at a rate of 2,000 tons per day. However, upon protests from residents and, of course, environmental concerns, they will be banned starting next month. So starting next month, which is also the new year, everyday trash, so 생활 폐기물, will be banned from getting directly dumped and buried into landfills. Again, in Korean, that's 생활 폐기물 직매립 금지. Under the new rules, only waste that's gone through the necessary treatment, that could be incineration, so burning or recycling, will be able to get buried directly into landfills.
Okay, so we understand that. But what happens to the trash starting next year?
Great question.
Right.
We don't know. Well, that's because no solution has been made yet, so that's the big task. Discussions have been ongoing for a decade.
Okay.
And the long-term plan is for each municipality, city, province to expand their public incineration site, 공공소각장. But none of these three capital areas have built a single public incinerator since discussions have been ongoing because there's this whole NIMBY issue, right? Not in my backyard. So right now, the only realistic solution starting next month is to send the trash out to private incinerators out of their jurisdiction. But then that means the rest of the country will be burdened with handling the waste from the capital area. Of course, burning trash, fumes, the environmental and health costs of all of that.
Right. Ooh, so they're going to have to get, cracking to find a solution. All right. We have talked about issues regarding reservation no-shows, incurring huge losses for businesses, but this story goes the other way, with businesses suddenly shutting down without settling customers' accounts.
And then left them wondering, where's my money?
Yes.
So recently, there's this group platform. It's called Part-Time Study. This group filed for bankruptcy. So its whole thing was it would have its members deposit a certain amount.
Okay.
If they achieved their study goals, they would get the money back plus a little bonus.
Oh.
However, on November 24th, the company suddenly filed for bankruptcy, and the customers are at a loss as to where their money went. How are they going to get that back?
Right.
This is common with fitness centers, Pilates studios, hair salons, and private academies where you usually have to pay for at least a certain amount up front.
Yes.
So according to Korea Consumer Agency data released by Democratic Party lawmaker Ho Young, put such requests for assistance at 987 reports in the last 5 years with the consumer agency, amounting to 272 million won. But these are the only ones that have been reported.
Sure.
Apparently, the unreported rate is about 90%, so the actual figures are likely 10 times as many of the reported ones.
Wow. So what can consumers do to prevent such damages?
Well, here's the challenge, because oftentimes these business owners will file for bankruptcy and then just sever all contact. They just won't answer their phones. And unfortunately, the Korea Consumer Agency, the KCA, is a mediating body. It's not law enforcement. So they cannot actually conduct investigations to track them down. And even the police, they only deal with criminal cases, and you getting your money back, that's a civil court issue. So right now, the best way is prevention. So big thing, 할부. If you have to pay upfront, and most times you get discounts for that, pay in monthly installments so you can at least stop payments from the future installments.
Got it.
Also, do your due diligence. And I mean, of course, we all want to work on this trust system, but the National Tax Service, their home tax platform, you can look up business owners and their past history with bankruptcies and business closures. Also, let's always apply that rule. If it seems too good to be true, it is.
Yes.
And that also counts for, because the new year's coming up, resolutions are coming up, gyms are going to be like, hey, we have all of this like free or huge promotions, 99% off. Is it
Not
Will
really.
it? Yes.
Never.
So again, let's be financially responsible.
All right. Thank you for going over all the top stories. We'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Ailey.
See you in a bit.
It is time for our first song. It is a song request from Souvenir. And here it is, 어머님께 by G.O.D.
어머니 보고 싶다.
어려서부터 우리 집은 가난했었고 난들다는 외식 몇 번 한 적이 없었고 일터에 나가 시어머니 집에 없으면 언제나 혼자서 끓여 먹었던 라면 그러다 라면이 너무 지겨웠어 맛있는 것 좀 먹자고 대들었었어 그러자 어머님이 마지못해 꺼내신 숨겨두신 비상금으로 시켜주신 짜장면 하나에 너무나 행복했었어 하지만 어머님은 왠지 드시질 않았어 어머님은 짜장면이 싫다고 하셨어 어머님은 짜장면이 싫다고 하셨어 야야야 그렇게 살아가고 그렇게 후회하고 눈물도 흘리고 야야야 그렇게 살아가고 너무나 아프고 하지만 다시 웃고 중학교 1학년 때 도시락 까먹을 때 다같이 함께 모여 도시락 뚜껑을 열었는데 부잣집 아들 녀석이 나게 화를 냈어 반찬이 그게 뭐냐며 나에게 뭐라고 했어 창피했어 그만 눈물이 났어 그러자 그 녀석은 내가 온다며 놀려댔어 참을 수 없어서 얼굴로 날아간 내 주먹에 일터에 계시던 어머님은 또다시 학교에 불려오셨어 아니 또 끌려오셨어 다시는 이런 일이 없을 거라며 비셨어 그 녀석 어머니께 고개를 숙여 비셨어 우리 어머니가 비셨어 야야야 그렇게 살아가고 그렇게 후회하고 눈물도 흘리고 야야야 그렇게 살아가고 너무나 아프고 하지만 다시 웃고 아버님 없이 마침내 우리는 해냈어 마침내 조그만 식당을 하나 갖게 됐어 그리 크진 않았지만 행복했어 주름진 어머니 눈가에 눈물이 고였어 어머니와 내 이름의 앞글자를 따서 식당 이름을 짓고 고상을 지내고 밤이 깊어가도 아무도 떠날 줄 모르고 사람들의 기타는 계속되었고 자정이 낮아서야 돌아가서 피곤하셨는지 어머님은 어느새 깊이 잠이 들어버리시고는 깨지 않았어 다시는 난 당신을 사랑했어요 한 번도 말을 못했지만 사랑해요 이제 편히 쉬어요 내가 없는 세상에서 영원토록 그렇게 살아가고 그렇게 후회하고 눈물도 흘리고 야야야 그렇게 살아가고 너무나 아프고 하지만 다시 웃고 야야 그렇게 살아가고 그렇게 후회하고 눈물도 흘리고
Guess what? It's time for Waves.
스포츠.
Andrew's a little miffed at me.
No.
And the producer.
No. Hold on. I want to explain this to our
Yes, let's
listeners of what's
explain,
going
okay.
on. So we were talking about that God song sounds like a couple of other songs mixed together. For any of our listeners, I said it sounded like the Vitamin C song Graduation and a Tupac song put together. I'm not sure. And then I said it was released in 99 but used for the class of 2000. And PDM was like, well, how old are you? And I said, oh, well, I turned 44 yesterday.
Meaning it was his birthday yesterday.
I'm not fishing for birthday wishes right now.
No.
But
That's not why.
Kat also said, oh, it was your birthday yesterday?
It's been a long day.
Whoa.
Okay.
But they both liked a post of mine on the gram yesterday that was about somebody wishing me a happy birthday.
That's true.
And then they both they're just likers.
Happy birthday
No.
you. Happy birthday to you.
These people, if you're friends with them on the gram, they just like posts. They don't read them. They like them.
No, we do. It's
Glorified likers.
No. Speaking of birthdays, we have another birthday shout out.
All
Not
right.
just yours.
Okay.
Happy belated birthday. Today is Sophia. Sophia's 11. She writes, my mom doesn't let me do Kakao Talk or do games. And she writes, Sophia Jung, and I'm 11. So she used her mom's account. They listen together. And she writes, today's my little sister's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
And she's going to turn 8. So happy birthday
8. What
to
a great
Sophia's
age.
little sister. I wish I knew her name. And also happy birthday, of course, to Andrew.
Yeah.
Turning 44, going on 4. Throwing a tantrum this morning, but yes.
Tantrum.
Yes.
It's a public service announcement to everyone out there. If you're friends with these people, they don't really read your posts.
We do. Oh, I do. I can't speak on behalf of the PD.
Yeah.
Throw her under the bus, but yeah. So I have a question before we jump into sports.
Oh, then that throw you under the bus is
Yeah.
not going to be the last time we're going to use that today.
Oh, really?
In response to a story, but we'll get to that in a moment.
Sure. So when you were growing up,
Okay.
did you have like teenage angst? Was there some sort of like, I don't know, trouble brewing between you and your parents, or vice versa with your own 2 beautiful sons? Like, do you disagree on certain things, or do you feel like a generational divide sometimes?
With my parents, I probably had it the easiest. I always say that my sister Shauna and my brother Mike, they kind of broke them. So it was, and I was the baby. I could do no wrong, but I was also a good student.
Yeah.
And they weren't great students. I'll say that, and they know that as well.
Ooh, yeah. So you're like the golden youngest child.
I mean,
The
yeah, I
golden
guess, right? So, I mean, yeah. So I didn't have a curfew. I got money when I needed it, things like that. So it was pretty. It was high school life for me was quite easy. Thanks, Mom and Dad. With my own kids, I don't know. It is at that point right now, and they might be listening, so I might choose my words wisely.
Yes.
But boys, listen to your mother. Oh. It's not so much with me, it's with Mom.
Wise words.
Yeah, listen to your
mother.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, I don't need anything flying across the room.
No. We don't. Let's dive into some wave sports. What do you have for us?
We're going to kick things off. I meant to put this in the chat to see what people thought I was going to talk about first, but it is the World Cup draw. All right, so when the draw went down at the JFK Center for Performing Arts in Washington, D.C. On December 5th, the atmosphere felt bigger than just balls in a pot and group listings. It was, it was a spectacle. It was also kind of part politics, which I think it always ends up being, but then it was kind of odd as well, and entertainment, which a lot of people, we'll get to this in a moment.
Okay.
So this edition of the World Cup at 48 teams now in the tournament, the draw revealed 12 14 groups. This is up from the 32-team tournament, which we've had since, I think it was 80 or 98, I think was the first time with the 30.
I don't remember the exact year.
Whatever.
Yes.
We're getting older.
Yes.
Who cares, right? But the event itself with celebrity appearances, Peace Prize, and I throw that out there, Peace Prize in quotations.
Yes.
Awarded mid-ceremony, dramatic build-ups. A lot of people say it was stretched too long, and it was more showbiz than sports.
Right.
But I guess, because it was in the U.S. as well, they're looking to get some of that ad money, because there were commercials and things like that. And then some people are saying it was just, there was a lot of criticism that for overshadowing, the sport itself.
There was a lot of chatter online. There was.
And I was going to stay up and watch this, and I was like, nah. And I'm kind of happy I didn't, because it probably would have been a 3-hour affair or whatever. Well, I think it was 2.5 hours for this draw.
I mean, how long does it take to,
Well, we'll get to some of that in a second.
Okay, well, let's talk about South Korea and who they were grouped with.
Yeah, we're going to get to a clip here for the live drawing of this.
Mexico! Mexico!
South Africa.
Hey.
Okay, we got the winner of Denmark, North Macedonia, Czechia, Republic of Ireland.
The four nations in Group A are Mexico, South Africa, Korea Republic, and the winner of Playoff D.
All right, so we are in Group A.
Group A, yeah, the A class. A. I just had to throw
with
that
Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico, South Africa, and then also the winner of Denmark, Czechia, Republic of Ireland, and North Macedonia. Now, I do have to give a shout out to my fellow countryman, the great one, Wayne Gretzky, who was announcing this, and he got ripped online because he said North Macedonia, and then everyone's like, macadamia nuts and these things. But I'm pretty sure this is how it's said in that country. And then other people were like, yeah, but when they said Italy, they didn't say Italia or these things. So it was kind of like...
they said Mexico.
Yeah, well,
they didn't say Mexico.
That was the president of Mexico.
That's
so
true.
That's the reason why.
He can say whatever, yeah.
Yeah, so now if we look at the rankings here, so Mexico is the highest ranked in the group at 15, then South Korea at 22nd, and South Africa at 61st in the world. Now, this is where it gets interesting with the European playoffs. So Denmark is ranked 21st in the world.
Yes.
And then it kind of drops off with Czechia 44th, Ireland at 59th, and Macedonia at 65th.
Yes.
Now, these playoff spots, it's really kind of flipped. I don't want to say the qualifying on its head, because some of the groups look fine until you look at who's still left to qualify. Like Canada's group, there's a good chance they're going to get Italy from this qualifying, which a lot of people are like, oh,
ouch.
Didn't expect that one.
Yeah.
Because when you think of teams still left to qualify, you would think that they're, much lower.
Yeah. Right.
So it makes a big
FIFA
difference.
rankings.
Now, what does this mean for fans of South Korea? Because being in this group, kind of the tournament itself is spread over 3 countries, and a lot of games are here and there and everywhere.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, how is this going to be? Because when it was in Qatar, everything was really centralized, which a lot of people had their issues with it being in Qatar, but for teams it was great because there was no travel.
Yeah.
They had their home base, and sure, it was hot, but I mean, there's a lot of things taken out of it that made it easier for the players.
Sure.
But a lot of people are wondering about the fans. So South Korea will play all their group matches in Mexico.
That's right.
Which, I don't know, depending on how you think of it, I think it's actually good for them because it's less travel. All right. So, they'll play in Guadalajara, Mexico City, and Monterrey. So there's not it's not like they're going coast to coast in the U.S., which I don't think any of the teams will be for the group stage anyway. Maybe.
But still.
It is still a bit of travel.
Yes.
For the South Korean fans, on the other hand, I think if you're getting tickets, it's going to have to be soon. And then also making your travel arrangements is going to have to be soon because, local flights within the country, they're not that expensive right now, but they will skyrocket.
But Mexico is one of the co-hosts, right?
There you go.
Oh, it's like, home field advantage.
Yeah.
There's definitely that. I mean,
for sure.
It's for any FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, so I think for Korea going there, I think it'll be all right. They do have the host, which, is probably going to be at a disadvantage for South Korea. And then South Africa is looking to upset. It's their first time back since hosting in 2010.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see how they do as well. And then, the other groups, it's a lot of teams people maybe hadn't heard of, or they've never seen these nations in the World Cup because of previous installments were, much smaller.
Yes,
32 teams
versus
down
48.
28 and even down to 16 a long time ago.
Right.
So it's given a lot of nations a good chance here, but also a lot of groups that people are kind of like, well, those two teams are obviously not making it through.
Right.
Those two teams are obviously making it through. So, but there can be always upsets.
All right, so that's a little preview. We know that Korea is in Group A once again.
Exactly.
Let's stick with soccer for the next story because a big name, Mo Salah.
Yeah, Mo Salah.
Yeah,
And Liverpool.
What's going on?
Well, I wish I had some positive news for Liverpool fans out there, but it is not. Now, Salah has stunned the football world by publicly questioning his Liverpool future, saying he feels like he's been thrown under the bus.
Right.
Which, I don't know, this is kind of like, if you come out and say this, it's pretty much the end of your career at this club.
Right.
He's kind of saying, he went on to say that after this is the third time he's been left out of the squad, and their recent draw against Leeds, which they should never have drawn. But anyway, he didn't even make an appearance.
Right.
Came out afterwards and was saying, he's told his parents and everybody else to come to their next game.
Because it might be his last?
Might be his last. Be able to say goodbye to whoever.
Yes.
Because after that game, he does go to the African Cup of Nations.
Yes.
And he's not sure, if he comes back after that, if he, if he's going to be part of the team after that, because that is during the January transfer window. Now, the thing is, his, salary, there's only really one place that can pick this up.
Yes.
And that is Saudi.
That's right.
But there was interest in him before from Saudi Arabia.
That's
true. So, there is chance that he could go there. But I don't know. I mean, he's a club legend, and to see him go out like this would be quite...
What do you make of it? Because you follow Liverpool.
Yeah, they're my team for sure.
So do you think that the head coach, is to blame, or what do you think?
I think
just
there's
personally.
Two things. Too many people left. Too many people, new players. Also, the Diogo Jota, thing with him passing away innocent tragically, that hasn't helped anything as well. It's thrown a wrench in everything with how they're going to proceed with stuff.
Sure.
But I think it was too many new players coming in to try to fit into the system.
Yes.
I also feel like, maybe, I don't want to say last year was a one-off because, it was so good.
Right.
But... It
could be
second year troubles, I guess, kind of thing.
Okay.
But we'll see how things go. But when we look at the table right now, after last night's game, Man United making a massive jump. They went from 12th all the way up to 6th.
Wow.
By winning last night
Leapfrog.
against Wolves. Sad day for Wolves. They're at the bottom.
At the bottom. Have they won any? None. Okay.
No games.
No games won.
No game won.
That's terrible. Hey, so I do want to talk about...
Yes, before we run out of time here,
this
for sure.
whole blackmail scheme targeting Son Heung-min, because there was a decision, there was a verdict.
Yeah, so this is something that it was a long time coming. People were wondering what was going to happen with the Son Heung-min, the blackmail case that we've heard about before. So a major court case, involving South Korea football star Son Heung-min came to a conclusion yesterday as two individuals were sentenced to prison for blackmailing the national team captain with false pregnancy claims. A woman in her 20s, identified only as Yang, was given a 4-year sentence for extorting 300 million won from Son after sending him an ultrasound image and threatened to go public unless he paid.
Right.
Now, investigators revealed she had initially targeted another man in a similar way, but turned her attention to Son when the first attempt failed. And then, this year was reportedly unaware of the setup until after the money had been transferred. So they did send this money, which is kind of crazy when you think of it. Now, the court also sentenced Young's former boyfriend, a man in his 40s, surnamed Yong, to 2 years for joining in a second attempt between March and May this year when the pair tried to get an additional 70 million won. So I think they could have been almost off scot-free here if they would have just been like, all right, we're good with the money we got. I mean, maybe something would have came out in the future. But yeah, so it was really interesting to see this come out. And also, I think the judge in this case, the judges they were kind of, I don't want to say they were trying to set a precedent here.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure they were. This is my words going on this one because I think this is something that could have kept happening, but
True.
I don't think it's going to. I'm sure it still will happen at some point, but I think if this happens to a big star like somebody who's in the public eye so much, I think this is still going to be the case if people try to extort money from, everyday citizens as well.
Yes.
There's a precedent set in stone now that these people were sentenced to this time. It might stop other people from doing this as well.
I hope so.
And I think that is what they're looking for here. Now, a lot of people are looking for, some comments from Son or from his camp, and there's been no comments.
Exactly.
I think they want to, this is done. We want to leave it at that.
Exactly.
And to be honest, I think that might be best for him. When he's in the public eye, he wants it to be for something positive.
Exactly.
And in the past year, with stuff dealing with his father, and then with this, I think he's, 2025, put it behind them.
I agree with you. In terms of the sentencing, they wanted to make a statement.
Yeah,
they
for
did.
sure. And I think, this is something that a lot of us has talked about that, sometimes in Korea, the sentences for different crimes have been maybe too light.
Yes.
And I think with this one, they had to go big because it was Son Heung-min. And maybe in the future, this will, stop other people from even thinking about this.
All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you for all the Wave Sports.
Wave Sports.
And Andrew will be back next week. Thank you, Andrew.
Bye-bye.
All right, this song is for all the winter babies all around the world, including Andrew. Happy birthday, 겨울아이 by Suji. I'll be back at 8.
겨울에 태어난 아름다운 당신은 눈처럼 깨끗한 나만의 당신 겨울에 태어난 사랑스러운 당신은 눈처럼 맑은 나만의 당신 하지만 봄, 여름과 가을, 겨울 언제나 맑고 깨끗해 겨울에 태어난
모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
좋아하는 일을 하며 자신만의 길을 걷는다면 얼마나 행복할까요? 빠르게 변하는 세상 속에서 교육은 내일을 향한 가장 가까운 첫걸음입니다. 한 걸음 먼저, 꿈은 더 크게. 지금 부산의 38개 직업계 고등학교에서는 배움을 넘어 꿈을 현실로 만들기 위한 학생들의 도전이 이어지고 있습니다. 내일의 나를 준비하고 있는 학생들의 힘찬 미래를 응원합니다. 이 캠페인은 다 함께 미래로 앞서가는 부산교육, 부산광역시 교육청이 함께합니다.
I was so busy this morning. I didn't even get to check my messages. I almost got hit.
Here comes the safety hero. Stop right there, Smombi. Put your phone away. Keep your head up. Look around.
What was I doing? Thank you. I'm finally free from being a smombie.
As you just heard, even a quick text could lead to a serious accident. This kind of behavior has a name, smombi, a word created by combining smartphone and zombie.
Walk with your head up and check your surroundings before you move. Let's build a safer traffic culture and keep our streets free from smombies. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산영어방송.
세계를 놀라게 할 북극 항로, 그 중심에 대한민국 해양 수도권 부산, 울산, 경남이 있다는 사실 여러분 아시나요? 불경의 미래 부산, 울산, 경남 방송발전협의회가 함께 하겠습니다. 지금까지 운영위원장 성현우였습니다.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Welcome back. This is Spotlight News. Judges express concern over ruling party's judicial reform. Judges representing courts nationwide issued a statement of concern over the Democratic Party or DP-led judicial reform initiative that would establish a special insurrection tribunal and establish a new crime of legal distortion. Judge Kim Ye-young, who heads the group, spoke to the press after a regular meeting of the panel yesterday, where attendees voted and passed a resolution to issue a statement on ongoing matters. The judges also added that reforming the judicial system should fully reflect the people's expectations and demands for the judiciary, as well as opinions from the judges who are in charge of the trials. President Lee to visit Japan next month. President Lee Jae-myung is reportedly planning on visiting Japan next month to hold a summit with Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi in her hometown. Sources from the ruling party said that the two countries are working on a schedule for Lee's two-day trip to Nara Prefecture as a follow-up to the two-leader summit at APEC in Gyeongju in October. Separately, the president is also said to be reviewing a visit to China for a summit with President Xi Jinping to balance out diplomacy with Beijing and Tokyo. KTX and SRT to merge by end of next year. The Minister of Land, Infrastructure and Transport announced yesterday that it will seek to integrate the express trains KTX and SRT by the end of next year in order to increase available seats and reduce safety concerns. Under the plans, the SRT train will run from Seoul Station and the KTX from Suso Station starting next March, with no distinctions to be made between the two trains starting in the second half of 2026. The ministry plans to collect opinions from relevant parties and undergo necessary legal procedures to push for the integration by late next year. Immigrants account for 5% of South Korean population. 5 out of every 100 people living in South Korea now have a foreign or immigrant background, according to government data yesterday. As of November 1st, 2024, there were 2.72 million people with a migration background in Korea, taking up 5.2% of the country's total population, marking a 0.3% uptick from 2023. South Korean nationals accounted for 24.8% of the total population with a migration background in 2024, while foreign nationals took up the remaining 75.2%. Powerful 7.5 magnitude earthquake strikes Japan's north. A powerful 7.5 magnitude earthquake struck northeastern Japan at 11:15 p.m. Monday local time, prompting tsunami warnings and evacuation orders for about 90,000 residents. Tsunami warnings were issued for the prefectures of Hokkaido, Aomori, and Iwate, and tsunamis up to 70 centimeters high were observed at several ports, according to the Japan Meteorological Agency, or JMA. The warnings were downgraded to advisories, then lifted. The JMA announced that an aftershock estimated to be of magnitude 6.4 occurred off the coast of Aomori at 6:52 this morning. And this was Spotlight News. It's time for a special interview. You know, in many futuristic sci-fi worlds, humans live in societies shaped by advanced technology and limitless automation. In 2025, we already find ourselves in a highly automated reality where daily life is almost impossible with constant connectivity. And recently, Elon Musk said that money might eventually disappear, envisioning a future where energy becomes the main measure of value and Bitcoin replaces traditional currency. So today we hope to gain a clearer understanding of what this vision means with the help of our expert guests. Welcome, Professor Bradley Rettler, Professor of Philosophy and Director of Bitcoin Research Institute at the University of Wyoming. Hi, welcome to the program, Professor.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes. So, you know, when Elon Musk talks, people listen. And he recently said that money may eventually disappear. So from your perspective, what does a post-money world actually mean? What might it look like?
When I think of a post-money world, I think of a world where everybody has everything that they could possibly want or need, and nobody has to trade for anything. They can produce everything that they want all by themselves.
And so do you think it's realistic for a society like that where there is no trade and everybody has everything, you know, at the tips of their their fingertips, like they have what they need? We don't need to trade anymore?
No, I think it's highly unlikely that a world could ever get to that point. Even if everything is abundant, there will still be people with particular talents, say for making art, that people might want to trade things for. And money comes in to solve this problem that sometimes I want something from you, but you don't have something that I want, or I want something from you, but I don't have anything that you want. And so money is this common denominator that we all agree to value things in and
Yes.
trade around as representing the goods and services.
Right. And so when Musk, he suggested that energy could become the main measure of value in the future. How should we understand this idea as energy as currency rather than, money?
For a long time, the limiting factor on what we could produce as humans was physical goods. And as society has advanced, energy has become more important. It is the limiting factor on how far we can go, how large of things we can make. And so it makes sense that in the not too distant future, energy will become so obviously the most valuable thing that we'll price everything else in terms of how much energy we're willing to give up in order to get that thing.
Wow. So how about from an economic or philosophical standpoint? What might some of the strengths and weaknesses be of tying value directly to energy?
Yeah, we see that money already represents time and effort, our own energy. We work for a living and we get paid for doing that work. And so in that way, it sort of loosely, metaphorically almost represents energy. And you could see, instead of using dollars or pounds, you could see using joules or watts or some measure of energy as the common unit of account, the thing that we measure other things in.
I see. And, Musk also claims that Bitcoin fits this future because its value is rooted in energy use. So in your opinion, how accurate is, the way he framed this?
In a way, it's exactly the opposite of the way that he framed it. Bitcoin represents energy that has already been used. So having Bitcoin means that you have something that took energy in order to produce. Much like gold, you have to mine gold out of the ground using either your own effort or the effort of a machine. And it itself doesn't store any energy, and Bitcoin is the same. You can't use the Bitcoin as energy. All you can do is say, I spent a certain amount of energy to acquire this Bitcoin. So it could be one or the other. It could either be that energy becomes the currency, or that Bitcoin becomes the currency. But if we want more energy, then we're spending a lot of that energy on mining Bitcoin.
Right.
And then it's gone once it's used for that purpose.
So if money were to lose relevance over time, Professor, what does that imply for the role of Bitcoin or other digital assets? Does that mean, for example, that the value and the role of Bitcoin, it's going to become a bigger part of our lives?
Right now, the reason that Bitcoin has value is because it's one of the best stores of value and one of the best international mediums of exchange in terms of the features that are built into it.
Okay.
It's really ideally suited to be money. And so the less important money is, the less valuable Bitcoin would be. It can't really do anything else other than serve as money. And so if it turns out that we're living in a society that doesn't need money, and if it turns out especially that energy becomes the most important thing, we'll be wasting that energy if we're using it to mine Bitcoin. So I would anticipate in that kind of a world, Bitcoin would probably disappear or at least become much smaller than it is now.
Well, in terms of looking ahead, what do you think a realistic future of money and value might actually look like, whether it's with or without Bitcoin or other digital assets?
In almost 100 years ago, John Maynard Keynes wrote an essay called economic possibilities for our grandchildren, where he envisioned that people would work 8 to 10 hours a week and then have all this time left over for free time because of the automation of farming and things like that.
Okay.
And we've seen 100 years later that hasn't come to pass. Despite all these technological advances, most of the wealth and value that's generated has gone to relatively few people. So I anticipate the same thing will happen with automation and AI, that the value that's generated there will be concentrated in a few. That doesn't mean, though, that the monetary landscape won't change quite a bit. Most money has not lasted more than a few hundred years at the longest. So while I don't think the concept of money and the use of money is going anywhere, it could be that money looks very different in 100 years than it does right now.
I see. Well, a lot of food for thought. So thank you so much for breaking down some of the comments that Musk made so we have a better understanding of what he said. But thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it, Professor.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
This was Professor Bradley Rettler, and we talked about this vision of a post-money world where we no longer have money, but actually energy as assets or wealth. So will that come to fruition? Who knows? That is in the future. I'll be back with your traffic and weather.
Good morning. Good morning.
굿모닝입니다.
Good morning.
좋은 아침입니다.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan. Major news, local buzz, and expert takes. It's all here on Morning Wave in Busan. Brighten up your morning commute with Morning Wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
It's time for your traffic update. First up, let's talk about the Gwangan Bridge. It is congested on that top portion of the bridge, and it is backed up on Chungjangdaero from pier number 5 to pier number 3. Also looking slow on Gaya-daero from Daenjeong Station to Jure intersection. Currently, it is 1 degree Celsius under clear skies. It's going to go up to 11, so you can tell there's a big gap. A dry weather special report and a cold wave impact preliminary report has been issued across Busan. A sudden drop in temperatures across the country, with most areas seeing below freezing morning temperatures. So there is a dry weather special report issued across parts of Gangwon, Gyeongbuk, Daegu, and Gyeongnam. So please be careful with fires. This was your traffic and weather. This is Snow in California by Ariana Grande, and then I'll be back with Wagga Wagga Tea Time.
This year. Let me make this clear. See, I really love him, and it's been kinda tough 'cause he's only in town for the holidays. Tomorrow he's flying away, away from me. I don't need another gift. I just have one wish this year. Can you just make it snow in California? I'll even settle for rain. Don't want him to go tomorrow morning. Give me something to make him stay. Wrapped in his arms by the fireplace would be the perfect gift. Let us know, let us know, let us know. Let us know in California. This kind of what happened to the plan we had. I checked the news and it said it'd be a sunny day. Make it go away. See, I really need him to stay for a couple more days. Can't you make it 5 o'clock flight delayed? Won't you find a way? I don't need another gift. I just have one wish. Oh yeah, this perfect gift. Let us know, let us know, let us know, let us know. In California, I know I'm asking for the impossible, but I believe in miracles. I need my baby right here with me, so please, please, just make it snow, California. I'll never settle for it. Don't want him to go tomorrow. Give me something to make him stay. Wrapped in his arms by the fireplace would be the perfect gift. Let us know, let us know, let us know, let us know, let us know. In California, I'll never settle for it.
It is time for Waga Tea Time with Haley. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Yes, yes. So with our fellow tea sipper, we're going to talk about the CSAT scores. I know we've been talking about it, and it feels like beating a dead horse at this point, but there are so many facets of this exam. Like,
that
for
horse
example,
is a big horse.
Yes, it is a big horse. A perfect score on the CSAT. I mean, the options are like entirely upon you. Like which school you're going to go to, what major you're going to decide on. But apparently for some people, many people, the answer is clear.
Right, because you think with a perfect 수능 score, whatever that might be, the world would be your oyster, as they say. But is it?
I don't
or
know.
is it 답정너? So I have a question for you without looking at the script.
Okay,
no
okay.
cheating.
No.
Cheating is a test. What percentage of 수능 perfect score getters have gone to med school?
Oh.
자,
Okay, I
수능
didn't look.
만점자 중에 몇 퍼센트가 의대를 갔을까요? 여러분도 한번 you take a guess. 맞춰보세요.
80%.
You're close.
Okay, what is it?
75%.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's-
which is like
Yeah.
lower than, I mean, I thought like 98%, but 75%.
Okay.
This is in the last 5 years of this integrated 문이과, natural sciences, humanities, CSATs. There have been 22 perfect scores, and 14 of them have gone on to med school, most of them Seoul National University.
Yes.
Similar cases with this year as well.
Yes, but this means that I guess if you do the math, 8 test takers chose other paths.
I think so. 14 plus 8, yeah, 22.
Yes.
That checks out. Interestingly, the very first CSAT perfect scorer, that was way back in 1999.
Yes.
It actually took a couple years for the perfect score to come out after the 수능 was introduced. Ms. Oh Seung-eun, she chose natural sciences. She went to Seoul National University physics.
Oh my gosh.
Finished that degree in 3.5 years. So she skipped a semester, got her PhD at MIT. She's currently a professor and runs a lab at UC San Diego, Department of Physics and Cellular and Molecular Medicine.
Wow.
2 of last year's perfect score getters wound up going to Seoul National University, different engineering departments. 1 perfect score getter from this year is seeking economics degree from Seoul National.
Yes, yes. While we are on the topic of medical school, a med school student called the police on his father for child abuse over this very issue.
Over attending medical school. So last month, the police in a Seoul area station, they received this child abuse report from this medical school student. When they went to the scene, the son in his 20s and his father, they've gotten into a fight over the son having dropped out of his medical school.
Oh.
The son accused his father of child abuse. He even recorded the fight in which the father can be heard saying, "We raised you for years. How dare you do this?" Meaning drop out of school without consulting your family.
Okay.
So what happened? Well, turns out the son submitted a request to take a leave of absence, 휴학계, as soon as he got accepted to medical school back in 2023. And then earlier this year, with the whole medical walkout, he actually used that as kind of an opportunity to study for and take the CSATs again, and then got into a business school. However, his parents are refusing refusing to let him go.
Wow, so there is clearly some family drama here. But big question. Was this child abuse?
Not according to what the police have deemed. So apparently there have been multiple reports of child abuse from, again, the son against his parents. However, no signs of actual or at least immediate abuse for the police to take action. The father, turns out, is a doctor as well and is of the opinion that he is going to convince his son to keep enrolling and attend medical school.
Yes.
The son, for his part, he says that ever since high school, he's told his parents, I do not want to become a doctor. I do not want to go to medical school. And then also alleges that his parents actually submitted the application for him.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think this story, though, speaks volumes about the state of academia just basically in South Korea.
Even anecdotally, right?
Yes.
Experiences that you and I have seen, those in education, the field, they say that this is a clear case of colloquially med school or bust. Or nothing. This culture, especially amongst top students, and also maybe what the government and society are partially responsible for. So according to 종로학원, which is this academic institution, private academic institution, last year, 386 medical school students have dropped out of their respective schools, and that was almost double the figure from a year ago.
Okay.
So you see that clearly there could be a mismatch.
Yes.
So this CEO of this private institution says that there is this perception that in this economy, being a doctor is the only stable or safe career path. And this is especially amongst parents whom they themselves are doctors.
Yes.
And this can result in clashes with children who don't see this as their particular career path.
Right, and we have people commenting on the board. Leslie saying, I really wouldn't want to go to a doctor that didn't want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
So that is a point. And also the whole idea of having a choice in what you major in. Is it your choice? Shouldn't it be? You're turning into an adult, right? But then, of course, your parents. Well, I'm going to just leave that there because I don't want to get into family drama personally. Well, it is the holidays and many people are pulling out or buying their holiday decor. But there is a safety warning out for holiday-themed napkins.
Right, because trace amounts of formaldehyde and other substances have been found on these holiday-themed napkins. So Seoul Metropolitan Research Institute of Public Health and Environment, they ran tests on 21 disposable napkins, so just the regular white or the tan ones, and 84 themed or decorative napkins that are sold on online platforms. And these are Korean platforms along with traditional market wholesalers and also small and mid-sized lifestyle stores.
Got it.
Problem with these themed napkins. The authorities found 8 cases of formaldehyde, 14 fluorescent brightener, 형광증 백제, and 23 cases of benzophenone. So all not allowed on things that touch you.
Yes.
These are all the regular napkins that were tested to be safe, domestically produced. However, all themed napkins were imported from overseas.
I see.
So therefore, the Institute advised people, and this is such ironic, not actually use these napkins to wipe off your hands or wipe off your mouth or let them come into contact with food. So these should only be decorative should you choose to buy them.
But let's be honest. I mean, if you see a napkin, you're going to wipe something with it, right?
Yeah, apparently just put them behind the glass. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks for a heads up on that.
Right.
I will not be buying holiday napkins.
Now we know.
Okay, for our last story, this is the upside of artificial intelligence.
Which, we have opinions about artificial intelligence, but when it's being used to find missing children who have been missing for decades, well, that is definitely technology being put to good use.
Yes.
So there are these missing children's posters at police stations with photos from, what they look like, the last appearance. However, if it's been 20, 30 years, what are the likelihood? So now they have what they may look like now. Photos next to the children's pictures.
Okay.
This is thanks to courtesy of Korea Institute of Science and Technology. Previously, this was done. However, it had to be outsourced to an American company, which meant a hefty price tag plus a month-long waiting time. However, since 2015, the KIST, they've developed a homegrown technology for this. And thanks to AI technology, it really took off.
Yes.
They were able to implement what's called a super resolution technology and improve the photo quality by 4 times.
Right. I have a question though. How does AI estimate how this person, would have grown up or have changed or may just look like?
Right, because of course we cannot factor in for all the environmental factors. However, there are some generalized ideas. So for men, usually when they go through puberty, their jaws get more angular.
Sure.
턱이 각져지죠. For women, opposite. Our jaws get more rounded or oval. But for both men and women, their noses get longer and higher as we go through puberty into adulthood. And then in the Middle Ages, of course, we start to get those fine lines around your eyes and mouth. Skin changes. Apparently, your jaw overall becomes more square, regardless of gender.
Okay.
So scientists taught this pattern to AI, figured out common traits by age, gender, and applied that to the photo. So it's kind of a scientific conjecture of what they might look like. So with this technology, the police have created this, what they may look like versions of 60 out of 189 long-term missing children.
And has this been effective?
Authorities say that they do find every 1 or 2 years a missing person that's been missing for over a decade.
Wow.
And people will look at these photos and kind of report, hey, this looks like someone I might know. There are currently 1,128 children and people who with disabilities who've been missing for over 20 years. So AI actually has been really effective at finding people who have been missing in the short term.
Right.
Because as opposed to when police officers had to comb through CCTVs manually, AI can do that in a matter of seconds as long as you feed it kind of the appearance and the prompt.
Right.
So again, this is being put to really good use.
I agree. So thank you for going over this plus all our stories. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Haley.
Have a great day.
All right, we're ready for another song. Oh, I like all these songs today. 미리 메리 크리스마스 by IU.
하얀 눈이 내려올 때면 온 세상이 물들을 때면 눈꽃이 피었나 또 빛이 나 눈이 부신 나처럼
Yeah, girl. You should know that. That my heart beats like from the bottom of my heart. I think that I found you. 쿵쿵 가슴이 왜 이렇게 가뿐히 쿵쿵 참아도 자꾸 네 생각이 나잖아. Oh you I love you and I know you love me too. 네가 내게 불러준 you are my boo.
아직 꿈만 같아 마치 선물 같아 네 품에 안겨도 늘 불안불안해 꿈처럼 깰까봐 꼭 안아줘야만 해 아껴줘야만 해 큰맘 먹고 네가 돼준 걸 하늘에게 감사해 하얀 눈이 내려올 때면 온 세상이 물들을 때면 눈꽃이 피었나 또 빛이 나 눈이 부신 나처럼 사랑할 수밖에 없어서 사랑한 네 손잡고서 저 위를 걸어 발자국을 새겨 이 길 끝까지 걸어갈 거야 혹시 알고 있니 느낄 수가 있니 늘 자랑하고픈 네 여자친구가 되고만 싶은 걸 전부 다 주고 싶어 잘해주고 싶어 단 그다음에 겨울도 너의 곁에 있을게 하얀 눈이 내려올 때면 온 세상이 물들을 때면 눈꽃이 피었나 또 빛이 나 눈이 부신
나도 믿기지 않아 지금 네가 내 옆에 이렇게 손 꼭 잡은 채 걷는다는 게 하얀 눈보다 더 뽀얀 네 볼에 키스해줄게 baby 빨갛게 물들게 baby
다가오는 크리스마스에는 기다리던 그날만큼은 네 곁에 있을래 하루 종일 미리미리 약속해 사랑할 수밖에 없어서 사랑한 네 손잡고서 전날 길을 걸어 발자국을 새겨 이제 끝까지 걸어갈 거야
Girl, you know, I can't even think without you in my life. Yeah, I know that you know. That's my baby.
It's time for Simply Sustainable, which means Bonnie's here. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Yes, well, I'm so curious. Did you have any like teen angst or any friction between you and your parents?
Oh, yeah.
When you were younger?
Oh, when I was really young, because I lived in America, and the culture there is when you're young, you go to sleepovers a lot. And my mom always hated when I would go over to my friend's house for
She
sleepovers.
let you? I wasn't allowed to go.
No, so I would ask my dad, and my dad was a softie. He always said yes. So I knew that when I would come home the next day, that I would have to face the wrath of mom. So I would always just come in really quiet and like apologize right off the bat. But she never ever so that was a big point of contention between us because I would always get in trouble, but then I would always still go. I had FOMO even as a little kid. So I was like, well, I really want to go. Yeah, so sleepovers always. She just always was like, we don't sleep over at other people's houses. You need to come back home. But
right, 잠은 집에서 자야 된다. Like kind of that mentality, right?
But that's where all the fun happens late night.
Exactly,
You know?
without the parents.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of having a sleepover.
Right?
I feel you.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was never allowed to go. Well, I'm curious as to what we're talking about today for Simply Sustainable.
Well, as we all can feel, it is getting much colder outside, right? And something that we use a lot here in Korea to keep our hands warm are those little disposable hand warmers. I'm sure some of you have already broken them out this year. Yes.
They're calling right.
Have we started using them yet? I'm sure they're starting to come out right now.
I've never used them.
Really?
Until I came here. I mean,
same.
We don't need them in California.
I didn't know they even existed.
Exactly. And then I came here. I'm like, what are those things that you guys are holding?
Yeah.
And they're like, here. And I'm like, ooh. Yeah. That was my first reaction.
And I was so amazed at how long they lasted.
Exactly.
Because I think I had one, someone gave me one for a hike. And I think I remember coming back home after the hike and then did my housework and then looking at what was so hot in this jacket pocket. I'm like, this thing is still working.
Right.
So I was amazed by it. Which, they serve a really nice purpose. Of course, when it's really hot, we're walking around and especially your hands get cold first, right? So I don't try to use them here either. My technique is I just pull my sleeves up over my hands like this.
Or hold someone's
Always.
hand.
Yes. Well,
Or
if you have that.
Yes.
But if not, I just use my sleeves. But a lot of people are using these. I don't know if you saw or not, but I wanted you to guess.
I didn't see the
Okay,
script.
I wanted you to guess about how many of these hot packs, these disposable hand warmers, are used each year.
Each year? Oh, I don't know. I'm scared. Like in Korea or worldwide?
Just worldwide.
Worldwide?
Korea probably uses quite a large percentage of them, though.
Like, I don't know, 50 million?
Oh, 2 billion.
2 billion?
2 billion
That was way
of these
off.
get used a year. Quite
Wow.
surprising.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a lot.
Because, like they're disposable, right? You use them one time and then they do lose their heat. So you have to whip out another one. And nowadays when it's really cold, it's not, think of all the people in your family. If the mom, the dad, if the two kids are using them, maybe you're using two, one during the morning, the cold morning, maybe one at nighttime. It adds up to be a lot.
I swear, there's no Bible here, but I have never out of my pocket paid for one of these.
Yes, same.
If somebody gifts me one, I'll use it because I was gifted one. 한 번도 산 적 없어요.
저도요. I have been gifted quite a few though, and I saw last year a lot of events were kind of giving them out as gifts. So if you went to some outdoors event, it would come in like a little package. So I was seeing that it was something that was being handed out for free.
Because like this, it's partially open, so you can see kind of the remnants of the hot pack. So what's in there? Do we know?
I was always so curious about this as well. So the main ingredients inside a hot pack are iron powder, salt, activated charcoal, and vermiculite. And sometimes there's water in some of them too. So the ingredients might vary pack to pack a little bit and country to country. But to become hot, this is how it works.
Okay, how does it work?
The oxygen reacts with the iron pack once you open it because the outside of it is porous. So it's like so the heat can escape too.
Sure.
So once oxygen hits the iron powder and the salt, it oxidizes, and then the more you shake it, the more oxygen gets in, and that starts to get the heat going. So what the contents are inside, it might vary a little bit, and they are all natural, like from the earth ingredients. So they're not necessarily toxic, but they're not really good for your health either.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to go over the downsides about these hot packs, and hopefully maybe we can kind of lead you into the direction of more sustainable ways to keep your hands warm.
And then our producer was mentioning like some of them, without giving away any brands, like they kind of like, I guess if you hold them in your hands for a while, like your hands will turn a certain color like black.
Oh no.
And then like the powder comes out.
Yeah, which is not ideal.
Because I was thinking like, and when she told me that, I was kind of like, because now we know, but like what's in there?
What
and
exactly is that?
Do you want that on your hands?
Technically, it's not going to be super toxic for you.
Okay.
So I did, when doing my research, I have seen people have ingested the contents of these before, and you do need to go to the hospital and make sure you get a chemical test and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But it won't necessarily kill you.
Okay.
But it's not something that you want in your body.
Sure,
so
got
it's
it.
not super toxic, but also it's not something that you should be eating.
Right.
So definitely, it comes on all the labels of the packaging. You don't want to ingest the contents of the packets.
Okay. But anyhow.
Yeah. So if it's leaking on your hands, definitely you want to throw that away and wash your hands. Yes. So the downsides of these little hot packs, well, first off, they only last for about 4 to 12 hours. So we know this. They're disposable, right?
Yes.
And then there's really no other use for them after that, right? I'm always kind of harking like upcycling, reuse. Well, these ones, I couldn't really think if any of you waivers out there have any ideas of what you could possibly use these for afterwards. But I don't know of anybody who saves these and uses them for something else. Maybe kids could draw on them and use them as like little toys or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Then you risk them bursting open. So they're a single-use item, which means we have to throw them away after we use them, just one time. The materials that they're made out of are not recyclable.
Okay.
So once you are done using them, you must put them in the landfill. You must throw them away. And so once they get put in the landfill, they're going to release these harmful chemicals into the soil and the water. So again, not great for the environment. And also, let's talk about what these things are made out of.
Sure.
I said they were not super toxic, but they're non-renewable resources, meaning that they come from the earth and we cannot just make more of them. So the iron, the salt, activated charcoal, these are all things that we have to mine, get out of the earth, and we cannot just like in a science lab just make more of these things.
Okay.
So they're a natural ingredient and we have to go out there and get them, mine for them. And then thinking about the whole production process. We have to take them out of the earth, then we have to package them, we have to, produce the actual little package, then we have to deliver it. So a lot of work goes into making these little packets, and they only last us for 4 to 10 hours.
Sure.
So when you think about all the energy that it takes to just make one of these, and then we only use it for a little bit of time, is that really worth it? It's not 2 billion, not for 2 billion
2
of these.
billion, oh my goodness.
Yes. And then they also pose a little threat to our health as well.
Yes.
So the activated carbon that releases is a volatile organic compound, VOC, and this can actually cause respiratory problems and is a contributor to air pollution.
Oh, okay.
So it's not great for us.
It's not.
Right?
I mean, especially if it splits open.
Yeah.
And the elements get out, right?
Yeah. And, a lot of children are using these.
True.
I'm sure a lot of parents are sending these with the kids on the bus when they're walking around. And we know that kids love to play with things, right? So I've seen kids using them as little dynamite things, throwing them at each other and playing games
definitely.
with them. So, if they do burst open, it's still not something, because they've already activated. The chemicals have already kind of mixed together. So that's just something that you don't want kids or anybody or pets, animals, cats, dogs to be ingesting.
Okay, so I have a question for you because, some people, during winter, they just feel like, no matter what I use, whether it's gloves or, hands in my pocket or whatever, they may try to do to keep warm. They feel like, you know what? I still need something to warm my hands. Are there alternatives?
Well, no worries, guys. I have some alternatives for you that are much better for you and much better for the environment, of course. So we have reusable hand warmers, and actually there's quite a few different kinds. So I'm going to go in the order of the least sustainable to the most sustainable. So we have 3 different kinds, and the first is an electric hand warmer. Some of you might have seen these out on the market. So these are ones that you can kind of charge, and they look kind of like a mouse, like a computer mouse, and they can hold it in your hand, and they run on a battery. So these are great because you can control the level of the heat, so you can make it higher, you can make it lower, and I also love these because you can turn them on or off, right? So the hot packs, the disposable ones, once you activate it, you are stuck with this hot thing for 12 hours, maybe.
No matter how
10,
hot
12.
it is.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't need it for the whole 12. I just needed it for this walk, that's an hour long, but you can't turn it off. These electric ones, though, they have an on-off switch, so you can use it for 20 minutes even if you want, an hour, maybe a couple hours, but they do last a good amount of time, and again, you can reuse them again and again and again, year after year.
What's the downside for the electric hand warmers?
Well, these ones, you cannot get wet. So you do pose the risk of maybe electrical shock, or especially if you're in the snow, you don't want to risk the water getting inside.
Got it.
So that's kind of a downside of it. And the downside is they could die as far as the battery charging. So you have to continuously charge it or make sure your hand warmer is charged. So that's a little bit of a con. The next one is a reusable hand warmer, which are these little pouches that look like they have a liquid substance inside, and they have a little metal disc. So if you're watching on our YouTube channel, you can see there's a variety of different kinds. And they have kind of a plastic film on the outside, so nothing leaks out. And there's a little metal disc, if you can see inside. So these ones, they work quite remarkably with exothermic thermal reaction. For all your scientists out there.
What is that?
So that means that they have a super saturated sodium acetate solution inside the packet, like a salt and water. So once you click or flex the little metal disc that's inside, it creates this nucleation point, and it disrupts the balance of the solution inside and makes it crystallize, or kind of turns into this salt solution.
Got it.
And that releases energy to create heat.
Ooh.
And these ones are reusable, so I love that. You can actually remake when the inside crystallizes, it turns into kind of like salt.
Yes.
So it kind of hardens, and then you can return that material back into liquid by boiling it in hot water.
Got it. Okay.
So the crystals turn back into a liquid, and then you can use it again and again and again. And these can be used for about it said 100 times at least. And I like it because you don't need a charger for these. You don't have to make sure that it's charged or anything. And it's completely safe food grade materials. So even if it is punctured or it releases whatever's inside, it's non-toxic. It won't be bad for your health, not dangerous for kids.
Okay, so that's another option. And you said you have another one?
Yes, and this one is, of course, my favorite because I think it's the most sustainable.
Okay, what is it?
And it's just a heatable hand warmer in like a little cloth pouch. How cute is this one?
The little avocado.
So basically what it is, I don't know if maybe you guys have seen like the over the eye heat
pack mask.
Yeah,
kind
warmers.
Of thing?
So these ones are like microwavable little pouches. So they are filled with a retaining blend of wheat and lavender. So another plus is that they smell amazing as well. And it's made with like a nice fabric on the outside.
Right.
So, there's all different kinds of designs and all different pouches that you can find.
Okay.
But these ones, they're completely plastic free. They're all natural ingredients. They're completely non-toxic. And these ones can be used forever. So there's not really a time limit on these ones. All you have to do is throw it in the microwave, put it in for about 30 seconds to a minute. It creates a nice little heat pouch for you. And so you can keep it in your hand, in your pocket, and then the heat will eventually wear off. But really, really cute and great, sustainable, good for you, good for the planet. And actually, my mom uses like a big one of those. She actually made her own with
you can make
beans.
your own?
Yeah, she filled her own like pouch with beans and she put it in the microwave and she puts it in the bed before she gets in so it's nice and warm. Kind of old school.
Back in the day, like the hot water bottles.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Or like the hot irons they used to put underneath the beds. But you can use these as well for that.
But I love using that hot water bottle like at home.
Yeah.
Like just on your tummy when you're having, aches and pains.
Definitely.
From that. Yes.
And I've actually heard that you can put these inside wet shoes and it will help dry them out. So if you have wet shoes, put these warm pouches inside and it will help dry.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for giving us the lowdown on these hot packs, but aka hand warmers, but also alternatives, what we can use instead. So we appreciate it as always. We'll check in with you next week.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Everybody, this was Bonnie with Simply Sustainable. So it is time to wrap up our Tuesday morning together. And I requested this song. So here it is. This is Last Christmas by Wham. Enjoy. Join us tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Christmas
bridge to the world.